Hey everyone! So today we're going to be doing a quick and easy experiment that explores the different states of matter. In this experiment, we're specifically going to be looking at water's different states of matter. Okay, so for this experiment, you'll need really simple materials. They can probably all be found around your house. So the materials for this experiment are 1 cup of ice, 1 small pot, and a stove. So as we go through this experiment, you're going to keep in mind these certain questions. So firstly, you want to keep in mind, how does this experiment portray the different states of matter, and try to think about everything that you already know about states of matter. And then secondly, think about, how do the water molecules change as you go between different states of matter. So for instance, how are the water molecules in ice acting differently from the water molecules in liquid water? So here we can see the first step of the experiment, which is super easy. Just measure out 1 cup of ice and pour it into a container of your choice. Then moving on from there, you're going to want to take the ice in that container and dump it into a pot that you can use on the stove. And then you're going to want to turn the heat on the stove and do this with a parent if needed. And then we're going to watch as the ice changes from states of matter. So this is going to be a time lapse of what the ice looks like as it changes from ice to liquid water to eventually water vapor, a gas. So hopefully by now you'll notice that the water is completely disappearing. And that wraps up our experiment for today. So hopefully you were thinking about the questions that we asked in the beginning of the video, because we will now be explaining the experiment. So as we could see in this experiment, the water is moving through the 3 different states of matter. It first started off with ice, which is a solid, then water, which is a liquid, and then eventually water vapor, which is a gas, and at that point we saw that there was nothing left in the pot. In the 3 different states of matter, the water molecules behave very differently. So with ice, the water molecules are tightly packed and there is very little movement. In liquid water, the molecules are a little further away and are able to slide over each other. And then finally in water vapor, the molecules are extremely spaced out, which allows them to have tons of space to move around. Another thing you may have noticed is that the temperature rises throughout this whole process. And this is because the extra heat is necessary for the molecules to be able to acquire enough energy to move from phase to phase. And then if you think back to what you know about phase changes, we can also see that happening as we go from ice to liquid water. Melting occurs, and then from liquid water to gas, there's evaporation happening. So that marks the end of this video. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you had a lot of fun doing this experiment with us.